Bismillah ar-Rahman Rahim. This is Amin Khatek from Pashtun Professional Canada. We welcome you all to our new program. Today we have a very special guest. Like as usual, we bring uh, our experts from different areas. Today we have Joshua, and today's topic event is how to access opportunities in construction industry. I will just let you know about a little bit about Joshua. He is an expert in construction industry. He's working as project performance manager. He's member of advisory board of Humber College Supply Chain Program, and he is also member of economic and labor force development in Canada. I just want to tell you guys that Joshua has recently joined Pashtun Professional Canada in advisory board as well. So we welcome Joshua uh, to be a part of Pashtun Professional Canada as well. Um, I go further. I will go to Dr. Manan to introduce himself and say a little bit about today's program, today's event. So, yes, Dr. Manan.
Thank you so much, Amin Saab. Um, uh, Warm welcome, Joshua Adedamola. As Aminullah introduced you, we are proud of you being on our advisory board of the Pakhtun Professional Canada, and you have astounding achievements. We are proud of you, and we welcome you for the today's session. People will be watching, particularly, like Canada is a home for over 100,000 immigrant every year, and most of them are coming by skill category. They are very well educated, very professional, and maybe this may be a new windows of opportunities for them to find a job and career and grow in something new. Sometimes they may be want to change the career, and this may be a good opportunity for them. So warm welcome, Joshua. And but I will start the beginning. Let me say, introduce yourself, like who you are, and tell us about yourself, and how you end up with the construction industry. Like how does this journey came, and you looking so excited, and you also got great achievements in it. So, Joshua, you.
All right. Thank you so much, Amin and Mana. I really appreciate the opportunity to share today with you and with our audience around the world. Again, I'm Joshua Adedamola. I've been in Canada for 2 years, excitingly, and it's been 2 years of awesome achievement. I'm very happy with the country, and I hope a lot of us who are on today are also happy with the country. I started out with a BSc in business, and then traveled to the UK to do an MBA in York St. John University. When I was done, I was supposed to do a PhD, but then it didn't work out the way I planned, so I went back to Nigeria. While I got back to Nigeria, I got into the construction industry, where I used to work as a performance and standard manager, and then grew up to become an operations manager of a major construction company, where we worked not only with all the signature projects in Nigeria, we also worked in partnership with Clamfa from Austria. We worked with Chartwell from the UK, and other major big consortium when it comes to construction. After a period of time, I moved down to Canada, and Canada has been exciting. In Canada here, I started out as in supply chain management, where I worked with Martin Brower for a short period of time as a warehouse supervisor, and then moved to the city of Toronto. And from the city of Toronto, I then got involved with Crosslinks. Crosslink is actually running one of the biggest construction projects in North America. It's a project that is worth $16 billion. It's supposed to build the railway between Scarborough and Midtown Toronto, when it comes to on the Eglinton LRT, actually coming down to the west. And then there's going to be an extension that goes down to the airport. Having worked on such a big project, I noticed that there were a few racialized communities who were working in the industry. And that got me thinking, because it's a multi-billion-dollar, industry with a lot of opportunities. But I never found racialized people. So when I say racialized, I'm looking at blacks, Indians, Pakistanis, any other person apart from the locals here when it comes to the white folks here. So it got me curious. So I then joined the organization called Toronto Community Benefits. They are an organization that is designed to work with the government to racialize the construction industry, to bring other race into the industry because there's so much money there. And having been with them for a while as a mentorship coach, I'm excited to bring to you today the wonderful array of opportunity you can actually explore in the construction industry, how you can find your way there, and how you can enjoy all the benefits that other people are enjoying. So
Joshua, let me start with a basic question. What does it mean, construction industry? What does it cover? Like, what does it mean?
Awesome. The construction industry for me, in context, in relation to our discussion today, we're looking at the multi-billion-dollar infrastructure project. I'm not looking at building houses, tiny houses or estates. That's construction, but that's at the very minute level. I'm looking at the big construction. So construction of infrastructure, railway, power projects, nuclear projects, etc. So that's what I mean. And when it comes to Canada has the industry is actually worth over $400 billion. The stimulus package by the Trudeau government to the industry is worth over $200 million, as the case may be. So it's so much, and I really am passionate about it, and I hope a lot of people actually see the light in it and begin to come there to make a lot of money.
So how can foreign qualified professionals, that as we said in the beginning, a lot of people over 100,000 people coming every year, and most of them are very well professional. How can they get into this construction industry? What are the requirements? How can they find the way to get in there?
Awesome. So there are different paths to get into the construction industry. There's the professional part. You want to become an architect, a project engineer, a project manager, a project coordinator. That's one end. For me, that end it's just the normal process of putting your resume and then getting shortlisted. I'm particularly not bothered about that. I'm bothered about the other area, which is the skilled labor part of it. Because for every one project manager, you have over 200 skilled labor working on that project. So question, where would you rather be? You'd rather be in the 200 part because there you have more opportunity of actually earning. But it does not stop at just earning. The skilled trades give you the opportunity to earn while you learn. So it's called the apprenticeship process. The apprenticeship process is an education process that ensures that you're not just learning in class, but you're actually going to the field, you're learning, and then with the benefit of earning a lot of money. So it's a massive opportunity for anybody who want to explore that area. And come to think of it, when you finish the learning process within 3 to 5 years, you earn as much as a project manager, even if not more than, in fact, most of the time, more than a project manager who is on the same project. So it's exciting.
Joshua, you use the word apprenticeship. Is it easy? Just one question, because like I'm just in continuation of his discussion. He's talking about apprenticeship. Is it easy? How can someone will get in? The process is easy to get in.
Awesome. Apprenticeship is an exciting way to learn. Normally as a doctor, to be able to learn, you either go to school and educational institution where you're taught theory and philosophies. But that's a good way to learn. That's one way to learn. The other way to learn is to put you on the job. So you are on the job and you're learning. You're given you work under a journey person who takes you through all the processes. Taking you through each of them as if you did not go to school, and gradually qualifies you. And then shortly you go back to the training school, spend 2 weeks, you come back, you spend 1 day, you come back, and then you keep learning. And as you accrue hours, you become a professional in your field. Now, is it easy to get into? Normally in Canada, getting into the trades union is one of the most difficult things you can ever do. You can actually be going through that process for 3 years and not get into the trades, because immediately you get into the trade, you become the liability of the trades you are interested in. And because of that, it's a well-guided secret for only a few who can find their way or get referral. But what we're saying today is that with the help of the Ontario government, there is now a loophole where we can actually pass people into the trade, uh, easily, in quotes. But then, what does it require to get into the trade? It's just a maths in English in your O level. So when I say O level, in my country it's called O level. In Canada, it's called grade level 10 or grade level 12. In your country, it may be known as something different, but it's just passing through the secondary school. Your final exam in your secondary school, the results, we just need the credit in maths, in English, in most of the trades, and in other trades, you need physics and chemistry.
Yes, Joshua, that's good. Like you have no doubt a great exposure of construction industry. We were just talking about skilled trades. When a foreign trained professional, when they come to Canada, when they apply for Canadian immigration, in construction industry, we look there's a lot of trades with its codes. If you visit the Canadian Immigration CIC website, like for architecture, for construction, for engineer, for mason, for carpenter, there are different codes. And when a foreign trained professional come here, they apply like they have the relevant qualification, they have the relevant experience from back home, from any other country. So you were talking about apprenticeship, that O levels and A levels are O levels are required here, or A levels with chemistry and math background. So if somebody has an engineering background from in road or in bridges or in carpentry or like electrical, such like diplomas or engineering background from back home, uh, is it a good fit for them? Like, is it that make them easy to get into the apprenticeship program? And what are the ways how to get into the apprenticeship program?
And
Awesome, awesome.
another thing, just to add it, and where will they? Where are they? Those
Okay,
skilled trades. Where are they? Is it in the
awesome.
colleges or in the private colleges, community college? Okay, yeah, okay. Go
Interesting.
ahead. Go ahead.
That's a good question. I mean, thank you so much for it. So you were asking how like people were coming in to the country with maybe a BSc, a master's degree, or a PhD in any of the engineering courses, and then if it will be viable for them to actually get into the trades. Now, for you to know something very clearly, even if you have a PhD in electrical engineering, if you want to get into the union, they will not consider any qualification outside the A levels. So any other qualification you have will not be considered. It's not even looked at. It's a union, and you know the way union work. You come anytime you come in, the next person coming is under you, and the next person coming is under you, and the next person coming is under you. That's the way it works. It's very regulated. So they only consider your A levels. The good part of it is that if you have had further studies outside of Canada, you can get into the union of your choice. And after you get into the union of your choice and you spend 1 or 2 years, you are more viable to get a professional. In fact, every employer would actually pay you almost double of what they would pay an average person who is coming into that same program. So, for example, let's assume a person who studied what do you call it, construction engineering, and has been building bridges. It comes into Canada, and you know when you come into Canada, they tell you don't have Canadian experience. So you eventually spend the first 1 year redoing your resume 1 million times, and then meeting a lot of brick walls. And then shortly you may be, they will tell you, oh, you didn't study, you've not studied in Canada. So you go back to school and study something else. And then you come back, you meet the same brick wall. And then after a period of time, it's either you get a small job that pays you maybe 40,000 or 50,000 because then you're frustrated, or you change profession entirely. So people change profession. They become nurses, or they become trailer drivers, or any other thing. And that's the way the system is designed, in such a way that you if you don't want to start from the base, most of the time you get actually frustrated. So what is my admonition for people who studied engineering related courses? Keep all of them. Get into the trades. When you're in the trades, you're working in some of the biggest construction projects. There you meet with contractors, you meet with general contractors, you meet with major companies. That's a good place to network. That's a good place to pass your resume. That's a good place to prove that you are committed to work. Immediately people see you, you're so committed to, you show up on time. You do your own piece of the work. Your communication skill is good, and the rest of them. It's everything you need to become, to get that first major job. And when we're talking about first major job, I'm talking about a job that pays you at least $75,000 a year. If it's paying you less than 75,000 a year, you're just floating, because it's not even enough for anything. So if you want something that can give you that kind of edge, where they would not ask, oh, you have Pakistani experience, you don't have Canadian experience, so we cannot entrust you with a project. With going through the union can actually help you pass, shortcut or short circuit that kind of conversation. And it's a sure way. You don't have, like, to join the union. Immediately you're in the union, you don't look for job. It's the union's responsibility to look for job for you. So immediately you join the union, your name is there. On the next project, they're sending you there. There's no questions asked. Everything you need to do is show up at work, nothing else. If you show up at work, you start to earn, and then your hours start to accrue. And then you begin to understand the way the Canadian business work, the way the Canadian business environment operates, the politics in the Canadian business environment, the communication styles, what is expected of you, what is not expected of you. So it's a good, incubation ground for any person who is just coming into the country, or is in the country, who is interested in getting into construction. Now, back to you, Doctor. You were asking, where are the unions, located? How did they join them? Actually, there are about 40 unions that controls construction here in Canada. So you would have heard of the Carpenters Union, the Brotherhood of Carpenters, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. You would have heard of, the locals that controls plumbing, Local 46, masonry, labor. There are so many specialized unions, and they all have their offices scattered around Ontario. So it depends on where you live, could determine the particular labor office, or better say trade union office you go to. And note, these trade unions, most of them have been existing for over 100 years. They have, they have the solid base and the infrastructure to get you to any level you want to go to. It does not stop there. Every of the trades have a trade school. So they have their own school that is funded by the Ontario government to train people who are interested in getting into the union. And these trade schools are heavily subsidized. I mean, heavily subsidized, to the point that when you're running most of the courses, it's usually between $50 and $150 to be able to actually run those courses that you would need to be able to operate in the industry. And so that's where they are. They're in Ontario. They're in everywhere in Ontario. I have, because I work with the with Toronto Community Benefit Network, I have access to almost all of them in Toronto. I just one more thing let me add here, because I know people are very excited. It is looking really good. Note that certain unions you can actually get in as long as you meet the basic requirements of having your basic qualification and you're ready to work. That's very good. The number two part is that other unions will require you to do certain tests. The tests are not difficult. They're just maths, English, sometimes engineering, mathematics, and electrical mathematics. But then it just depends on the union you are interested in.
Okay, Joshua, thank you so much. How much the cost to it? I have a couple of questions together. How much cost is involved? Is age matter? Like, is it for every age class, like from 20 to 60s? Because I'm senior. So, and is it OSAP available in case if there's a cost to it? I'm also asking another question that, yes, for the IT, technologies, engineer, you talk about. What about health sciences, social worker, people coming from other careers and sponsorship visas and all those things? Are there something for them too? Is the same? Or?
Okay, let me take you one after the other. That's a good question, actually. Thank you. So, Number one, does age matter? Age does not matter in construction. Criminal record does not matter in construction. As long as you're willing to work, like when I mean work, as long as you're willing to work, there's job. That's number one. Number two, unlike other industries where you can show up 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late and apologize, construction in Canada, you cannot show up 7 minutes late. You cannot even show up 3 minutes early. You have to be at least 15 minutes early, at least 10 minutes early. So if you are willing to get into that, to major construction in Canada, as long as you can meet up with the time requirement, you show up 15 minutes early, 30 minutes early. Most of the sites opening up by 6 o'clock and closing by 3 p.m. So you would usually have your time alone with your family. If you need to pick your kids from the school, you'll be able to pick them from the school and spend all evening with them and show up tomorrow morning. That's the way it works. It's a consistent process, and it does not respect age. It does not respect criminal record or anything. It's just that you want to work. Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Is in the construction industry, which can be labor intensive? Yes. Off you go. Down to site. Can you rephrase the last question, because I think I'm not
the cost to it, if somebody, the cost to it, and
okay, yes. So in terms of
availability, yes.
So in terms of cost, you'll be surprised, as I told you. Excitingly, workers in construction in Canada are in extremely short supply. You would not believe that there are lots of projects by the federal and by the Ontario government that they've not been able to award because they cannot find people to do the job. It's that bad. So that means the industry is massive. Now, because the industry is massive, the government subsidizes even your membership. Membership, or to buy the application for membership into a number of these unions, you won't spend more than $80. Actually, I'll give you an example. The Carpenters Union, your membership to get there and actually get into it is $78. Only that there's a clause to it. You need a sponsor, and that is what the organization I work with will be able to, do for you. If you're coming through the organization I work with, then you have a sponsor. It's the sponsorship that has made it difficult for people to get into the trade, because they will tell you who would reference you, who's going to give you a letter to back you up. And I know that a number of people who may be listening to me, they'll be like, oh, this guy's saying all kinds of excited things, fine. But I've tried and nothing happened. I was not able to get in. I tried 1 year, year 2, year 3, nothing came out of it. I can assure you today, and that's why I'm part of this organization that I'm on today. If you're interested in any of the unions, we can, through our mechanics, actually get you in as soon as possible. For example, if anybody who is listening here is interested in getting into the Carpenters Union, I can get you into the Carpenters Union in less than 2 weeks. And much as I've said this, note, Carpenters Union is not all carpentry. In terms of the carpentry we're discussing, it's not making chairs and making tables. It is working on major construction sites. It's working on major oil refineries. For example, last week we got 4 people into what do you call it? Petro Canada refinery. Their specialization was just to build scaffolds. So they're working with, scaffolding. Fantastic. So you're in an oil and gas company. We got people into Eglinton LRT, some of the stations, Cedarville Station and Chaplin Station. There you'll be doing a lot of scaffolding. You'll be doing a lot of farm work, So it's massive. It's very prestigious. I have the hat. I should have brought at least my hat and put it on now. It's very prestigious. It comes with a lot of benefits.
And when it comes to the pay rates, how do you grade them? Low, medium, top? One can make a good fortune there. If there is a progression, one can go to like a top level. But I also asked previously the question that other than technologists like health worker and social worker,
Okay.
those people can also join.
Yeah, let me start from health worker, social worker. Unfortunately, when it comes to infrastructure, construction of infrastructure, it's not so much about social worker or nurses or PSWs. No, those are fantastic professions to be in, but then it's totally removed. What we're the emphasis today is on major construction and major construction sites. So you're coming to a site that is worth over $400 million. You need to work. So you can be an iron worker, you can be a carpenter, you can be a plumber, you can be drywall finisher, you can be, it just goes on and on and on and like that. So it does not matter whether you're a male or a female. So everybody is actually invited to actually work in the construction industry. The industry is even looking for more females to be able to diversify a bit. So before, it used to be a male-dominated industry, but effort is gradually being made to, welcome as many females who were strong and technically able and passionate about the construction industry.
So who is dominant now till now? Like, is there like South Asian, Caribbean, African, from different? Is there diversity there, or
Okay,
still there is lacking of diversity?
as
What's
I,
your
as I said
experience like?
earlier, yeah, as I said earlier, it's a 95%, industry, 95% controlled industry. That means the bulk of them are all whites. Why is it like that? It's because it's massive pain. They are the only people who get into there, and then at 23, they've bought their second houses. They've bought a boat. They've bought a yacht. Yeah, they've bought an Harley Davidson bike. Most of us cannot afford it, even though we are, far more qualified than a bulk of them. But because it's a high-paying industry and unionized, and nobody can fire you, and you're earning.
What's the minimum wages? What is the minimum?
Now, the minimum to be able to get into the union of any union of your choice is $19.50. Let me explain why it's $19.50. When you get into the union, you're considered a neophyte. You're considered that you don't know anything, an empty brain, who is coming into the industry. So you're coming to learn afresh. It's $19.50. Some union is $22.50 from the first day you get into site. But don't let it, that should not discourage you. What happens is that the union pays you based on the hours you've spent in the union. So every 6 months, your hourly rate as an individual goes up consistently every 6 months. That's number one. Number two, you have pension and benefits. So you're almost like every other person who's working in an office. Nobody's different. You have your pension, guaranteed pension, and guaranteed benefits. It does not stop there. Your holiday pay is 10% of the amount of money you work every 6 months. So let's assume for a junior person who does up to $50,000 in 6 months, is by June you're giving $5,000 as your holiday pay, and by December, first week of December, you're giving another $5,000. As that's just holiday pay, apart from your pension and benefits. It does not stop there. So anytime you make up to 1,000 or as you keep making like 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 hours in the trade, your rates keep going up till it gets to $45 an hour. And remember, when we say your pay rate is going up, you are not going to negotiate with your manager the way we do in the corporate world. You need to consider with your manager to say, oh, I need a raise. No. The conversation here is that immediately you're meeting the your hours, the hour quota required, your money automatically goes up. And even if you leave project A to project B, it does not make any difference. Immediately you're leaving to project B, they are paying you your new rate. And you're moving to project C, you're paying your new rate. So it's your hours is controlled, or better still, is accounted for by the union. So it's not as if, oh, I was doing 25 here, and then I was the project finished, and then I moved to another project, and they're saying they will pay me 20. No, the next project automatically starts to pay you from the next from where you are currently. And as you get maybe get to second term of your apprenticeship, the third year of your apprenticeship, and then you become a journey person, that's the peak. So to become a journey person, you must have spent, depending on the trade, 3,500 hours to as much as 7,000 hours in other trades. And then you get your red seal. When you get your red seal, you are the best in your industry. And then at that point, it's the same rate. $45 an hour plus pension and benefit, it gets to $56 to $60 an hour. That is, if you do overtime, automatically you know what it means. And that's why a lot of them can actually do $100,000 in 6 to 7 months and decide not to work during winter.
Joshua, that's great. Great benefits and great pathway to go up to that level. I'm just recapping and just making it easy for the viewers. A new foreign trained professional landed in Canada. How he will find or how he will get into the trades. Just make it easy for the new immigrants.
Awesome, awesome. So let's assume you're a new immigrant, you come into Canada. Automatically, there are two ways. If you're a PRO holder, that means you have your work permit. Fantastic. So you're good to go. If you are not a PRO holder, let's say you're a refugee claimant and the rest, that means it's assumed that you should have 1 year or 2 year work permit. It's also good. The union wants you. So how do you get into the union? As I said earlier, the union, much as it's, you see, every money I've called to join the union is so small and insignificant. They then put a roadblock by telling you that you need a sponsor. So without a sponsor, you can't get into the union. A sponsor is just a normal roadblock that is put there to just ensure that people don't show up. So what do we do? If you are in the broadcast today or any other day and you're interested in the union, get in touch with me. I'll get you in touch. I'll register you with the program that is sponsored by the government of Ontario under the Toronto Community Benefit Program. That's Toronto Community Benefit Network. So it's a network of engineers, of professionals who negotiated deals with the Ontario government to diversify the construction industry. So that way, some of the major construction industry actually signed community benefit agreements to say that on each of their projects, they would have maybe 10% or 20% representation. And that is what all of us are leveraging on to be able to pull our people into the trades. Remember, it's a heavily guided industry. It's protected because of the opportunities that are bound there, but it is not impossible to get to. So just get across to me. I'll get you across to the organization. You actually get paid for joining the organization. Is that funny? You get paid $500 to join, and then there they teach you some of the basics. Now, what are some of the basics they need to teach you? Not technical skills, but the soft skills that you need to succeed. Remember, because the industry is 90% dominated by the white individuals, they sometimes can make the place uncomfortable for you. They can either use racist slurs or use signs or just make everywhere frustrating. So what the organization I am in would help you do is to train you on those basics within a period of 3 to 4 weeks in the evenings, 1 hour on Zoom or so. We'll train you on what you should expect and how you should navigate. And then we'll put you into the union of your choice.
Joshua, just talk about do you have a question? I mean, should I go?
Yeah, I was just asking that the trainings what they give, like by the unions or by inside, is that kind of certificate programs, recognized programs by the institutes, or it's a skilled trade programs? In terms of those trainings, where we we understand it, like we put something like those kind of trainings on our profile on resume, that it is university skill, technical, vocational, or what kind of where we grade it.
Okay, basically there are 2 levels of trainings I've discussed here. So let me forget about the one my organization does. That's just to help you. Those are soft skills to help you. But when it comes to the union, if you join the union, every of the training is governed by the Ontario School of Trade. It's recognized everywhere in Canada, basically. So the question is that what kind of trainings do you actually do when you get to the union? WEMIS. Now, not the WEMIS you've done anywhere else. There's WEMIS specifically for construction. Basic safety, that's what you call 4 steps. Working at height, working in confined spaces, all those kind of basic training you need to be able to work on a live construction site. The trainings are recognized by practically all the unions, and once you have those without those trainings, you can actually even go into a live site. They won't allow you. You need to pass through all those compulsory training. And guess what? Some of the colleges actually have almost 40, 50 trainings, which are specialized to their trades. So it could be on like low voltage, it could be on communication cabling, it just depends on the trade you're in.
But
and
tag in, tag out, and all those kind of trainings.
Yeah. And now remember, tag in, tag out is it's quite universal. But then the construction industry have very specific ones that you need to run. And the training is not just done by anybody. If you are not accredited by the Ontario College of Trades, you cannot do those trainings. or you cannot administer those training, or you will not be certified to run such trainings. And also remember, when we're this conversation we're having, when it has to do with the union, is far removed from the school system. It's an alternative to the school system, so nobody really bothers themselves about colleges and universities. Now that's a different discussion entirely. The apprenticeship system is an alternative to conventional educational system. Does it make sense?
Okay. So means this is like some budget requirement set by the Ministry of Labor, because those kind of technical trades, they are
Yeah,
mostly influenced by Ministry of Labor, and it's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So if a new man, like a new immigrant, as I talked before, he landed here, he's going to set a career path in construction area. He has somewhat background of construction. Maybe he don't have any, but he thinking that is a multi-billionaire dollar industry. Let's go into the construction side. He don't have any experience. Uh, how can he set his career path in the construction? Which area to select? Like how he will do that?
Awesome, awesome. So a new person who comes in does not have anything. Note, what the apprenticeship system requires is they don't require you to have anything. And even when you get into the apprenticeship system, even if you have everything, it is considered you have nothing. So you actually come in to learn everything afresh.
From
Does it
zero.
make sense? That's number one. So, like the first time, first day, let's assume you are started into union. From the first day you get to site, nobody's going to give you a difficult task to do. It could just be move this here, move this there, tag this, cut this, measure that. Very, very basic requirements. But then as your hours keep going up, the work volume keeps going up and up like that. So that's number one. Number two, your interest as an individual will determine the union you join. So if you're a person who is interested in massive construction, carpentry, formwork, drywall, flooring, scaffolding, etc., major for major, yeah, the Carpenters Union Local 27 is an option. If you're somebody who is interested in plumbing, Local 46 is your option. If you're a person who is interested in becoming an electrician, IBEW, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, is your best option. If you're a person who is interested in cranes and heavy duty machines and cement pumps and the rest of them, Local 793, International Union of Heavy Duty, IUOW, International Union of Operating Engineers, better still, yeah, that's who they are. That becomes the union you want to go into. So your interest determines the union you want to go into. But it does not stop there. Your qualification can also determine the union that accepts you. So if you have just maths and English, certain unions will accept you. If you have maths, English, physics, and chemistry, some other unions would accept you. But if you don't have any of these qualifications, there are organizations that can actually take you up and help you do your grade level 10 or grade level 12 maths and English, or maths, English, physics for practically free. But then that would take you almost 1 year or 1 year plus to be able to write those final exams and be ready. So it all depends on the individual, what the individual has, and the interest they have. But note, there's no prestige, unlike when you go to the colleges and the rest of them. There's no prestige in any of the unions you pick. Apart from the fact you're saying, oh, I'm an electrician, oh, I'm a carpenter. At the end of the day, you're almost paid practically the same thing. Yeah. And when you become wrestling older or you get to the pinnacle of your career, you're practically almost earning the same amount of money. You're there, so there's nothing really special about one union to the other, apart from the fact that somebody has interest in A and interest in B. But again, one more thing, one more information that would interest you. The other time I was telling you the difference between a project manager, having one project manager with almost 200 trades people. So the same logic I always try to discuss with people. Get into trades that require a lot of people from time to time. So that means you never have a downtime. So if you're out of prestige, you go get yourself into the maybe plumbing union, and then they don't have jobs. That means you have to sit down at home for 2-3 weeks before you get to your next site. Compared to the fact that you can actually join the Carpenters Union and Like if your project is finishing today, within a week they're moving into another project. Within a week they're moving to another project. So that way your hours accrue very fast, and within a short period of time you become a red seal holder. And then to top it up, if you let's assume you were an electrical engineer back home, you studied your BSc and then with your master's degree, and you came here and then you joined the union IBWE. Within 3 years you become a journey person. When you become a journey person, if you go back and want to work as a professional electrician, so you want to get into design and the rest of them, I can assure you that you will earn nothing less than $150,000. Why? You at that point you are far more valuable than anybody in the industry. Does it make sense? Because you have both the intellectual skill and the technical ability joined together as one individual. You are the sweetest guy in the market. You are never out of job.
Okay, Joshua, you said.
I have one live question, Dr.
Okay.
Mana. Somebody asked me one question. He sent me a message. But there's two things different. He's asking that, is there union available in other provinces like Saskatchewan or other provinces the same like Ontario? And my other question is like reference. For any job you go, you need reference, a strong reference. To get into the union, you need a reference or no?
Okay, to get into the union,
Yeah,
you need
or
reference.
in industry, or construction industry.
Yeah, just to get into the particular union, you may need reference, and that's why I said my organization will be able to help you in such a way that that would not be a problem. So that one is out.
Okay.
Immediately you get into the union, you don't need any other thing. All you need is that I have been working, I'm diligent, and people love me. That's it. You don't need anybody. You don't need resume. You don't need anything. Your hours are there. There's a project. They pull you to that project. Hey, you go there. You can work
You
for 2
just
years.
go and your job is started. Like he
That
was
is there. Yeah, and that's the miracle of it. You don't need anything again. You are now the responsibility of the union.
Okay.
From that point. So it's getting in that can actually be the order. Immediately you're in. Once you're in, you're in. You're in and you're made. That's it. Now that's out. The most prosperous what do you call it? Province is Ontario. And I know that there are unions in Saskatchewan, in Manitoba, and the rest of them. Fine. But I'm not a pro there. But when it comes to Ontario, I am a pro. I understand what happens here. So I can only to a large extent speak for Ontario. But there are unions in every of the provinces. And you know that Ontario is a bit more diverse. So it's easy for, racialized people to find their way in. In other parts of the country, it could really be totally, in fact, it's like an Herculean task to be able to get into the union, because the union knows that immediately you come in, they can no longer do anything to you. You just in, your hours keep counting, and your trajectory, your career trajectory is sure.
Joshua, we all know that diversity is strength. Why it doesn't work in construction industry, and when it is difficult to join the trade union, then how will someone come across those barriers and challenges? And so, what is your say on it?
Yeah, the truth is diversity is strength. Yeah, it's beautiful. Theoretically, it's awesome. In practice, it is awesome. But what all of us have come to understand, I know you know it too, and Amin knows it too, is that we're living in a very closed system. It's not the best, and because of that, it's quite difficult for most of us who are racialized to navigate our way in the industry. But much as I've said so, I'm one person who believes that nothing is impossible. I push, and I know at least Amin knows me to a certain extent. There's anything I really want to look. I will find every possible way to get it, and that has actually helped me, and that's even the motivation I'm actually bringing to people who are listening. There is nothing impossible. There's nowhere you cannot get into. If one road closes, go and open the other. If another one closes, just keep opening until you get one that is totally open and well accepting. Now,
So to make it possible, like as you said, it's not impossible. What will be those like technical skill, maybe the soft skill. What will be the
Awesome.
thing to make it possible? Possible
Awesome.
also making you want to struggle, okay? And what will be their struggle about? What does that
Okay,
mean?
awesome. What do you need to be able to stay in the trade? Now, is one thing to get into the trade, is another thing to stay in the trade. What do you need? The technical skills, you need to just forget about them because they will be taught, you will be taught on the job. Like the construction is life, it's ongoing. So you're learning, you're moving on, you're going to different sites, you're seeing what's happening in the rest of them. So that's out. What do you need? First, or better still, 90% of what you will need to stay in the construction industry are your soft skills. So what do I mean by soft skills? Punctuality. Punctuality is not negotiable. In fact, if you come late twice, it's going to go into your record. Sometimes, if you come late even once, you'll be walked out of sight. So it's not negotiable. Hard work is not negotiable. That is, when you come to site, they require you to do your own portion of the job. You know why? Because most of it's a project. It has a timeline. It has a budget line. Nobody's going to say, oh, because these guys are new, so the project is going to, is going to be allowed to slack. No. Do you get me? Now, the other part has to do with resilience. You need a bit of resilience to be able to stay. So when you meet very difficult situations, when you're working with very difficult teams, when you're working with racial teams, people use racial slurs and the rest of them, you need to have a certain level of resilience, and the passion you bring to work to say, look, hey, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere else. I'm here, we're going to do it together. Because people can only make threats, they can't actually do you anything when it comes to construction. So if you're a person who have got very soft skin, you may want to run away. But if you've got very strong skin, hard skin, and a commitment to work hard, boom, you are in to stay. Another thing I want to talk about is your willingness to continuously learn and push the limits. If you're a person who is always willing to go there every day, show up early, do your own piece of the work, help people and the rest of them, you will just realize that the love people have for you, in fact, you become like the baby of the site. You get it? So it's all, if you then listen properly, you get it that it's all about the soft skills. It's the soft skills that will actually make you stay on site and not go home and say, wow, I'm not interested in that. And build your career. And once you become a Red Seal holder, your life is changed forever. You are now a person who makes over $120,000 every year. And then
what is this Red Seal certificate? You're talking about Red Seal certificate.
It's
What
called,
is it?
so the Red Seal certificate is a globally recognized certification that tells that you have met the hourly requirement, the hour requirement for the trade you're specializing. So some trade will require you to do 6,000 hours before you become a Red Seal holder. And then guess what? The Red Seal certificate is not just recognized in Canada. Every developed country in the world recognize the Red Seal certificate. It shows that you are a pro in the industry. So if you get to Australia today, let's assume you are a Red Seal holder in Canada and you get stuck in Australia. If they know you are a Red Seal holder, they're putting you on site. And when they're putting you on site, they're going to be paying you as a Red Seal holder in Australia. So in America, so in the UK. So any of the developed world, they hold, in fact, the Red Seal is actually held in more reverence than virtually every educational qualification. Because even if you're an MBA holder from the U of T, if you go to the UK, the probability that when you get stuck, you get the job is very slim, extremely slim. But if you are a Red Seal holder carpenter and you get stuck in the UK, I can assure you 1 week you'll be working.
Okay, so Joshua, you are in the trade union. You got a chance. You spent there a couple of years time. You got a lot of experience in maybe in plumbing, maybe in carpentership, maybe in as an electrician. Can you leave them?
Now,
because you got a lot of good job in public, for example.
now,
So can you say goodbye?
yeah, let me tell you how interesting it is. The question is why will a person leave a profession paying him more if not equal to anything he can earn outside. Why will a person leave? That's number one. Because at
Okay.
that point, when you get to you become a Red Seal holder, you're not going anywhere. That's the pinnacle of the industry. You are enjoying yourself. You can afford to work 6 months and travel 6 months. Nobody's going to ask you no questions. That's number one. Number two, the only thing that I can see people doing when they get to the pinnacle of their industry is leaving to become entrepreneurs. So if you're a Red Seal holder and then you open a carpentry company, that's an organization that specializes in massive construction carpentry. Hey, you like every contractor will rather give you a job than give any other person. So apart from people leaving to become entrepreneurs, I don't see anybody going anywhere because the money is sweet and the control level is so down. You don't need to politic around. But let me also give you some of the exciting things that comes with trying to lead. So let's assume you're an intellectual person. You've been in construction. Maybe you want to become a lecturer in the university. And yeah, you went into the trades. After the trades, after you've gotten your Red Seal, you can actually go back to school. And when you go back to school, the government subsidizes your education with almost 80%. That means you get almost 80% grants to go and study in the university, which you will not get if you went there straight. So you get full, almost sometimes it's 100%, 80 to 100% subsidized education to go back to school to study anything of your choice and become anything you want to become. So, doctor, you would totally agree with me that somebody who has his Red Seal, he has over 10,000 hours specialized skill, and then adds education to it. I guess you would rather hire him as a lecturer than hire a person who has been studying philosophy, first degree, second degree, and PhD.
Okay, I mean, so I mean, is there any question? Because we are
Yeah,
short of
yeah,
time too.
fine.
So
Just tell us about the growth opportunities, like uh, in those trades, joining the trades. How's the growth? If somebody joined today, the construction industry,
Awesome,
trades,
awesome, awesome.
where he will be after 3 years, after 5 years, where he can find like a brand new person.
Yeah, I can assure you 100%. I can put my name and my reputation on this. If you get into the trades in Canada, in Ontario, your life has changed as long as you stick with the trade. Your life has changed forever. Why? Canada is the second largest country in the world in terms of land size. That means the construction industry knows no bound. It could the growth is going to be continuous for over 100 years, non-stop. If you just look at even up to as tight as Toronto is, Toronto has more cranes than 5 of the biggest cities in North America. Toronto has more cranes than all of them put together. That's to tell you the quantity of development going on. And most of us live in Brampton, we live in Mississauga, we live in Oakville. As development is leaving Toronto, is moving there. And it's living there, it's going to other cities, going to Caledon, it's moving. And it's going to be aggressive. It's so much. And, the career path is awesome. You are sure, I can assure any person who is even 17 and gets into the trade, till the guy retires, the trade would not go down. It won't. It practically would not. It's an awesome place to be in, construction, actually.
So to start a business in construction industry, like be a entrepreneur, be a businessman, do we need experience to join the trades first, get into that, and then start my own business after 3 5 years, or how much experience will be enough?
There are two ways to it. One, you may want to join the trade first because the Canadian business environment is a bit different from any other business environment. It's totally different from the US business environment. So sometimes you may want to get into the trades to know the nitty-gritty of it, to know all the politics that is in it. That's one way. So after 3 or 5 years where you become a Red Seal holder, you move on, then you're a master of the trades, you're a master of the whole business environment, you have your network and everything you can leverage on, you go and open your own company. That's number one. Number two, if you got access to big money, so if you got access to, multi-million dollars worth of cash, you may decide to open a company and then register that company in a trade union. So when you register that company in a trade union, guess what? Apart from the fact that you may be able to look for jobs for yourself, the trade union's responsibility is to look for projects for you if you are able to join the union. So does it make sense? So if you open a company today and you join the carpenters union, one of the duties of the carpenters union is to look for projects for you. So they actually help you cut your marketing budget by over 70 or 80%. And as long as you go there and deliver, your portfolio gets bigger and bigger and bigger till the time you say, oh, that's it. I'm going to stick with what I have.
Joshua, do you have any question, Bhai?
No, it's okay. We are short of
Okay,
time.
so I have three questions, and then we will be going to the near to the closing end. My three questions are: what would be your wake up message for all Canadians? They're looking for a job. Um, what will you say to them to come to the trade union? What will be your wake up message for them? Number second is, um, uh, what would you tell to people? They are already there in the trade union. Sometimes they become discouraged because of the cooperation of the co-worker, maybe the manager, supervisor. Sometimes maybe the work is too hard, the time is, as you say, they need punctuality because you are late. The person has a family, children, they're dropping kids at school, picking up wife, learning ESL classes and all those things. For the newcomers, life is not that easy. Bread and butter and working hard, tons of things there one person is doing. Number third message is, what will be your message for those watching you? So three messages, key
Yeah.
messages. Three
So
key
let me start.
messages.
Let me start from the first one. So what's my message to everyone who is interested in
All
joining the union?
Canadians, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it is the sweetest place to be in if you are in Canada now. If you're thinking of Canada, if you're thinking of coming into Canada, let's assume you're watching me in any other country of the world, please target the construction industry. It's a booming industry. The growth opportunities are massive. I can assure you 100% within 3 to 5 years, $100,000 is very possible. That is very, very, very possible. It's like guarantee. You will make it because as long as you're meeting your hours and you meet the union hours, maybe 6,000 hours as the case may be, it's 100%. You're getting your money. You don't have to negotiate with anybody. You don't have to, pull resumes apart. You don't need to justify why you are entitled to that amount of money. You don't need nothing. All you need to do is that, hey, I'm a year 4 or I'm a journey person in this trade. Immediately you're a journey person and they're taking you to site, they are paying you as a journey person. If you're a year 2 person, they're paying you as a year 2 person. If you're a year 1 person, they're paying you as a year 1 person. So it's such a guaranteed earning industry, and that comes with pension and benefits. And that's that's one of the biggest fear. People want to work in the corporate world because they think they have pension and benefit. In the unions, you are guaranteed of pension and benefit, a very good pension and benefit when you retire. Number 2, for those who get into the union and are discouraged, my brother, my sister, unfortunately, doctor can actually even attest to the fact that for you to be able to learn a skill, it comes with a lot of energy, it comes with a lot of passion, it comes with a lot of hard work, it comes with a lot of late nights, as the case may be. But what the union offers you, what does the construction offer you? It offers you a consistent way to work. So if you're going to resume work by 6, by 3, it's not negotiable. You are out of sight. If you're working on afternoon shift, the same thing. So it's just there. It's these are setting they are set timing, and because the industry understands that it's labor intensive, it requires a lot of power in some occasion. Nobody, in terms of health and safety, once you are done with work, you need to go home. It's expected that you go home. It's expected that you rest, you eat well, you sleep well, and you show up the next day. So you can't afford to be discouraged. Just let the joy of becoming a journey person make you wake up early every morning. The joy of earning over 120,000, 130,000, 150,000. I've met people like a lady I met in the electrical union. In 6 months, most of the 6 months, she's already made over 100,000. So she stops work and starts traveling around the world. So the joy of that thing you can actually become should actually spur you to wake you up and wake up every morning and be part of it. Now again, like every other immigrant, trying to get yourself situated, trying to get your kids to school. It's a normal, kind of challenge all of us pass through. But if you're in the construction industry and you're in the morning shift, by 4 p.m., you're with your children. So all you need to do is to find a way for them in the morning to be able to get to school. But every evening, you can have dinner with your children. You can watch movies with your children and then sleep with them. Only that they know that in the morning, dad is gone, mom is gone for work. And then the last one, for those who are watching me, I was an intellectual person before, so I believed that you needed to go to school if you wanted to succeed. So first degree, second degree, like myself, I have got all kinds of qualifications you can think about, from Six Sigma to project management to public relations to marketing. I keep naming it. Anyone you name it, you see me there. But then I realized that it is not only one road that leads to the market. Many roads leads to the market. If I after finishing my secondary school at 17, if I had gone into the trade, by the time I'm 23, I would be earning almost $100,000 guarantee at 23. Can you see how beautiful it is? Any person who went to school, who went to the university at 23 would be in debt of at least $80,000 if you're in Canada. So that's at least, because you're not even considering the money you used to, rent your house and everything, just looking at the fees. But this other guy, from the first day he got to site at 17, he had started earning over $20 an hour. He had started accruing pension. He had started accruing benefits. And when he's 23, he's already doing over 100,000. By the time he's 30, he's already doing 150 or something. He can proudly go and open a company. He understands the way all the mechanics work. So I would ask anybody or any parent, where would you rather want to be? Do you want to have children who wealth is guaranteed, who are set up to make wealth? Or you want, to get to a point where after going to all the best universities in the world, you begin to carry resumes everywhere and they tell you, oh, this is not Canadian style resume. And then somebody puts something and you take it somewhere and say, no, remove this. And then no. And then at some point you get confused, you get frustrated. And then maybe you start looking for a second career to get into. So it's a beautiful world to get into. And for those who are looking for a second career, construction, joining the union, the construction industry is a sure way. It's guaranteed. It's a guaranteed way to making wealth and to guaranteeing wealth and inheritance for your children.
Okay, Joshua. Should I ask him a last question and then?
Yeah, sure. I don't have. Yeah.
Joshua, like you are also on the advisory board of director of Pakhtun Professionals Canada. I'm sure Amin was asking also the same question, but I'm just maybe taking the place. So what do you want to say about the Pakhtun Professionals Canada as an organization? We are a registered non-profit organization. We're bringing awesome people like you. You're very awesome, and this is your community because you are on the advisory board. So what your message will be specifically for the Pakhtun community here in Canada? And
okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So what will be my message? For me, I'm in a number of communities, and for me, I'm fascinated by this. Even having me as a part of your advisory board shows your commitment to diversity, and for me, that's key. Understanding diversity, understanding the strengths in diversity, and understanding that people come with skills and specialization from every part of the world. So I see it as a top-notch organization compared to a few other organizations out there, and your commitment to also bringing in good people who are actually skilled, trying to really help your community, your passion you bring in. I remember when we were having these conversations yesterday, and then you were so excited. You really were looking for ways to maximize the short time we'll be spending together to say, look, our people need to hear this. They need to, be part of this opportunity. The passion you guys bring into it, the passion Amin brings into it, the messages he sends me every minute, trying to prop me up. It's exciting. It just shows that you guys know what you're doing. You guys are committed to excellence, and it's a commitment. You guys need to be committed. We don't want the qualities to go down. We want to, continue to help our community, continue to help the Pakistani community, and continue to help the racialized community in Canada, so all of us can grow together, earn together, and live well together.
Amin, do you want to have a message before I close?
Thanks. Sorry. Thanks, Joshua, for coming, joining us, joining Pashtun Professional, and joining us today's event. Indeed, that was a great information you shared with the community, and we are happy to have you here with us. And we will definitely call you again and again to share some views, some information, some jobs related to construction industry. If there is some question, we will definitely forward it to you as we are getting questions now. We don't have further time because the time is over, but I'm still getting questions on my phone. So we will definitely forward it to you and we will hear the answers from you. I will thanks community for watching, for giving us support, for giving us the motivation that we are here, we are helping, we are serving you, and we are doing our best. So that's it from my end. Yes, Dr. Ma.
Awesome.
Thank you, Amin Bhai. Thank you for watching the program. On behalf of the community, we want to say thank you, Joshua. You're awesome. You are great. You are distinguished. You really make a difference today, and we are so proud of you, and we are happy. So this time we are closing this program. We will say stay safe. COVID-19 is still there. So when you go out of your home, take all the precaution that Public Health Canada has outlined for all of us. And I wish you that your family, you stay prosperous and be happy. For now, I will say